Emma by Carolyn. My last 50 cents. She'll never hit me. She wants to tongue out. That's why I'd rather play with Maria. Grown-ups get tired too fast. And when they get tired, they can think of zillions of ways to end a good game. Maria would have hit me, and if she'd won my last quarter, she would loan me some more. The game would never end. Never. Not until a grown up would say, "You've got to go to bed now." Maria told me that is Emma's favorite. Maria knows a lot of things, especially about Emma. I do too. We have decided to be just like Emma when we grow up. We play games with the children, read stories to them, take them shopping and to New Orleans. Even when their daddy doesn't want them to go, we let them dress up in our pretty red dresses along with white beads. Not the long ones that hang all the way down to your waist. Not those kinds. Not like the lady at the train station. When we grow up, we'll go to dinner and to parties. We'll wear long black dresses with real wide skirts. Skirts that spread way out like umbrellas when you spin around. And we'll wear lots of sparkling jewelry. We won't leave home until 10 at night. And when we come home, it'll be real late, almost the next day. The house will be quiet and real dark. The children will be in bed, but we won't forget about them. We'll tiptoe into their rooms and kiss them on their heads. We'll make sure they are still asleep first. That's the way Emma does. I like the long black dress. It's shiny and smells good. When Emma walks, it sounds like paper rattling. That makes me think about presents. She always brings presents back for me and Maria, wrapped in real pretty paper, but not Christmas paper. Maria and I will always remember to bring presents for the children. Maria likes the long black dress too. She says you should only wear it at night like Emma does. I guess the lady at the train station doesn't know that. The next morning, Maria and I will call each other on the phone and talk for hours about the latest dance and our aching feet. I'll say, "Such fantastic food and wine." Maria will say, "We really should do this more often." I'll throw my head back and laugh. I'll twist my hair around my fingers, get real serious, and ask Maria, "Was she there?" like Emma does. I asked Maria if "she" meant the lady at the train station. Suddenly, for no reason, Maria would get this real mean look on her face. She'd press her lips together real tight. "You've gotta promise to never tell Emma, Dory, or I'll get in trouble." I asked her what kind of trouble. When she wouldn't tell me, I told her I'd tell Emma. But she grabbed my arm and twisted it real hard. "I'll break it," she yelled. Sometimes she'd squeeze my arm so tight that I thought she was really going to break it. I'd scream real loud and she'd let go. I knew she would break it. She's my best friend in the whole world. But sometimes I'd keep right on screaming just to see how loud I could scream. I heard Emma scream one time. Daddy was fussing at her. She picked up the phone, then she dropped it and just stood there screaming. Daddy tried to cover her mouth like Maria does me, but she bit him. He snatched his hand back real fast. They stood at the end of the bed, staring at each other. I held my breath, 'cause I knew that was going to be it. But they just started laughing like real crazy. I just laughing and rolling all over the bed. One day I'm gonna bite Maria. Maybe she'll think it's funny too. Yeah, she'll think it's funny. She knows it's just a game. She told me about it. Maria said grown-ups have a special grown-up game to play. That's the game they play with the lady at the train station. I'm not sure how to play this game. All I know is that I want to play on Emma's side. I don't want her to lose this game. She's my mommy. I think it's fair for me to be on her team. So I asked Maria a lot of questions about it. She said what she always does. Dory, you ask too many questions. All you need to do is play fair, like when we play spades. You wouldn't look in someone else's hand and tell that they have the little joker when the big joker is the card that beats everything now, would you? I told her no. But when I know who has the little joker, I can play my other cards smarter. I told her that too. All she said was, fine, Dory, fine. You're gonna do what you want to do anyway. You're a spoiled brat, and you just want to have everything your way. She never sounded like herself when she said stuff like that. She sounded like a grown up. Emma says Maria is growing up. She's 9 years old. She said I'll probably sound just like that next year. Yesterday, Maria was trying to work a puzzle. She hates for people to talk to her when she's trying to work those puzzles, but I kept talking anyway, begging Maria to tell Emma just a little bit about the lady at the train station. She said we could give Emma a hint right after lunch, but when she came back, she didn't want to tell Emma anything. I knew it was because of her mama, but she was mad enough already. I don't like it when she gets too mad at me. She always gets mad at me when she's really mad at somebody else. Mrs. Robinson must have done something to her when she went home for lunch. She's always doing something to make Maria mad. On Saturday, she fixed Maria's hair in cornrows. Maria hates cornrows. Last time Maria asked for sneakers, her mama bought bubbles. Maria's Mrs. Robinson's kind of weird. One time I heard Emma tell Miss Watson that she has a green-eyed monster. I don't know where she keeps him, but I don't go in that house. I don't think Maria knows about him. I don't think she'd go back home if she did. I felt Emma kick my leg under the table, but not real hard. Are you going to play in this life or the next? She asked me. Huh? I asked. She held up the cards, almost showing me what she had in her hand. Do that one more time, I said. She made a funny face and pressed the cards to her chest, acting like a little girl. She pushed her hair back and looked up at the clock. I knew what she was going to say next. We've been playing for an hour, Dory. It's getting late. I think you're tired. You really should go to bed now. I begged. Please, just a little longer, Emma. Oops, it slipped. I covered my mouth. What did you call me, Dorian? She asked. I told her that I was sorry. That's what Mary and I call her when we are playing grown up. She kind of smiled and didn't say anything, so it must have been okay. She looked at the clock again. Then she looked at her watch. I knew she was waiting for him. I wondered if he was still with the lady at the train station. I hate it when he makes us wait like this. Do you want to do something else, Mommy? I asked. Before she answered, I said, I know what we can do. We can play Hang the Man. She shook her head. Monopoly? She shook her head again. I know, I said. Let's dance. I stood on my chair to turn on the radio. I knocked over the sugar can. She caught it as it rolled off the counter. She pulled me back down into my chair. No, we will not dance, she said. Well then, here, I said, pushing the book across the table. Let's finish, little woman. She smiled a little bit. I think she was going to do it, but we heard Daddy's car pull into the garage. Emma threw her cards on the table and ran to the back door. She was so happy to see him. She acted like a puppy licking and kissing his face. He was sort of happy to see her, but not happy like when he sees the lady at the train station. Every night I would sit at the top of the stairs next to their door. Sometimes I could hear him telling Mommy that he loved her. She would ask, "Only me?" Daddy said, "You're the only woman in my life, Emma." They would talk some more and the bed would squeak a lot. I couldn't hear them talking anymore, so I would go to my room. I told Maria about it. She said, "See, I told you, Dory, it's all just a part of the game." I told her, it's not much of a game to me. I don't like this game at all. It just seems to me that Emma should know who has the little joker. The next morning when I woke up, Emma was bouncing up and down on my bed singing, "Wake up, sleepyhead." I sat up on my elbows so I could see if the sun was in Mr. Teddy's cup. When Granddaddy was here last summer, he teased me a lot about staying in bed too long. He said Emma did the same thing when she was a little girl. Granddaddy has lots of funny ideas. He propped Mr. Teddy on the rocker and tied my yellow cup on his arm. "No, Dory," he said. "When the sun is in this cup, it's 12 noon. All little girls should be up by then." "Why?" I asked. "So you won't miss anything," he told me. When I asked him how he knew it was noon, he said it was because he lived on a farm and farmers just know about these things. Granddaddy told me a long story about farmers. There was a lot of stuff about chickens and getting up early. I told Maria. She thought I was real smart. Granddaddy said even Emma could tell by the sun. Maria liked that part a whole lot. That's why she let me teach her how to tell time in Mr. Teddy's cup. Granddaddy said this was our little game. We shook hands and all that stuff. I liked Granddaddy. He always came to my room to talk to me. Daddy never came in my room unless it was to get money. I hugged Granddaddy every day that he stayed with us. His gray whiskers stuck in my face, but I hugged him harder anyway. He'd pick me up so I could almost touch the light. Then he'd bounce me on my bed a while and just stand there staring out the window. Sometimes he took his pipe out of his pocket and beat it in his hand. He told me that holding the cup would keep Mr. Teddy busy. "That's funny," I said, "'cause Mr. Teddy needs something to keep him busy, and Daddy said you need something to keep you busy." That made him laugh. Then he said the strangest thing. He said Daddy was busy enough for both of them. Then he called me Emma. Granddaddy had a strange look on his face when he said that. "I'm not Emma," I told him. "I'm Dory." He pulled my braid and said, "You seem to be one and the same to me, Dory." I wasn't sure what he meant, but I liked him thinking I was the same as Emma. We had a real good time that summer. Daddy came home early every night. He even stayed home from work one day. He wore blue overalls like Granddaddy. Emma and I wore some too. We dug up the backyard and planted a garden. We worked in it all summer, getting dirty and laughing a lot. Maria worked in the garden with us. Mrs. Robinson never came over, but Emma sent vegetables to her. Sometimes she sent back cooked into vegetable pies. I didn't like them, but Emma and Granddaddy liked them a lot, so I pretended to like them too. When summer was almost over, Granddaddy went back to his farm. Daddy drove him to the airport early one morning before the sun was in Mr. Teddy's cup. Emma sat on the steps with me and Maria and watched him drive away. She wanted to cry. Maria and I cried too. I missed him. He made everybody happy at our house. I forgot about the lady at the train station. I think Daddy forgot about her too. One day, Maria told me that she wanted to live on a farm when she grew up. "I thought you wanted to be like Emma," I told her. "I do," she said. "Emma lives here. You can't live on a farm and be like Emma," I said. but she told me that she could be Emma when she used to live on a farm. Maria didn't even know Emma then. I asked her how she could do that, but she told me not to worry about it. I didn't have time to worry about it because Emma came to the door talking real fast about new school clothes, a busy day, and hurry. Mrs. Robinson was already in the car when we got to the garage. It didn't take long to get downtown. We went to a lot of shops. Emma had me trying on all kinds of stuff. I lost Maria for a while. I guess Mrs. Robinson had her someplace trying on a bunch of stuff too. We found them and drove to the mall. Maria and I talked about our new clothes. Emma and Mrs. Robinson were talking too. I wanted to listen, but they were so quiet. Besides, Maria kept talking. When we got to the mall, Maria and I went to the arcade. We played Miss Pac-Man until we ran out of tokens. What do we do now? I asked Maria. I knew what Maria wanted to do. We said it at the same time. Let's go to Gina's and eat with Emma, I added. And your mama too. Emma and Mrs. Robinson were sitting out front at Gino's watching the ice skaters. Maria wanted ice skate, but I wanted to roller skate. After she found out that I put her roller skates in the car instead of her ice skates, she was a little bit mad. She kept calling me a brat. It didn't matter as long as I knew she was going to the train station to skate with me. Mrs. Robinson and Emma were talking with their heads close together. Emma's black hair and Mrs. Robinson's red hair looked pretty. It looked like they had one head with two colors, like Jabbo, the downtown clown. Then Maria said, let's play Emma and Ruby. You can be Ruby and I'll be Emma, she told me. I like to play grown up, but I don't like it when I have to be Maria's mama. Maria and I got into another fight. She wanted me to be her mama because I'm short like her mama. I might be short like her mama, but I just like my mommy. When I told Maria that, she just said, well then, your stupid teddy bear could be Emma, because is just like her too. That made me mad because my teddy is a boy. I yelled at Maria. She got angry and grabbed my arm. She squeezed it real tight. I screamed, but she wouldn't let go. I screamed again. She tried to cover my mouth with her hand. I was going to bite it when her mama yanked her away from me. Mrs. Robinson pushed Maria into a chair. I'm surprised at you two, she said, making all those loud noises in public. She didn't sound surprised to me, just long and boring. No wonder Maria wants to be Emma, I thought. Mrs. Robinson kept talking on and on. I kept waiting for her to stop, but it was taking a long time, and Maria was making some awful faces. Mrs. Robinson waved to a lady passing by. I whispered to Maria, okay, you can be Emma. Maria smiled. Emma touched both of us on the hand and said, now, isn't this much better than fighting? Mrs. Robinson said, they are both impossible. You should have both of them, Emma. Emma smiled and winked at us. Maria would pack up and leave with you at a moment's notice, she said. Emma said, that would be nice. Dory needs a sister to share her things. We'll keep her from being spoiled. I said, I'm not spoiled, Mommy. She pulled my braid. You're not spoiled too bad, she said. I pushed her away. I always pretended not to like it when she did that. It always made her do it again. The waitress came over to our table. I was already waving my hand telling everybody that I knew what I wanted. Maria squeezed my hand under the table. I pulled it away, trying to pretend I didn't know what she wanted. Then she kicked my knee. I knew what she wanted then. I licked my tongue at her. She grinned at Emma. You order first. I'm having whatever you have. So Emma ordered a hot fudge sundae and a glass of water. Mistress Robinson said, does that mean you and I are on a diet, Dory? I murmured, I guess so. She ordered frozen strawberry yogurt and coffee. Mistress Robinson went to the bathroom. When Maria wasn't looking, Emma fed me her sundae, drank my coffee, and ate that awful yogurt. When Mrs. Robinson sat down again, she smiled at me. I see you like yogurt, Dory. I smiled back and made a face when she wasn't looking. She leaned over and asked Emma, why don't you have another child? Emma made a face and said, heavens, no! Jack wasn't ready for Dory. We're not going to talk about another baby until he gets the business of Dory straight in his head. Mrs. Robinson said, I guess it was a big change for him, from the great player to the great father and husband. That is quite a change. Emma said, I was thinking more of the things that we gave up as a couple. Mrs. Robinson said, I can't tell that he's given up anything. It seems to me you have given up everything. Emma sat back in her chair and looked at Mrs. Robinson like she looked at me when she didn't understand something that I had done. I was staring at Mommy. I guess she didn't like that either. She reached into her pocketbook and handed me a deck of cards. Play with these and stop listening to my conversation, she said. I pushed the cards over to Maria. She pulled her face out of her bowl and opened the cards. Mrs. Robinson said, I could keep Dory for you sometimes. Emma said, thank you, but we need to spend time with Dory. Besides, Miss Watson comes whenever I need her. Mommy bent down to put her pocketbook on the floor. Mrs. Robinson smiled that awful smile. When Mommy sat up, she said, you know, he's a very handsome man, Emma. She smiled and drank some coffee. He makes good money, she added. She smiled again and drank some more coffee. Mommy shook her head. Yes, he's handsome and he does earn good money. Mrs. Robinson said, there's a lot to be said for men and their money. She smiled a third time and picked up her coffee. She touched it to Mommy's glass. Here's to a man with money, he said. Wish we all had one. Mommy snatched back her glass so fast she spilled the water in her lap. Mistress Robinson smiled as Mommy tried to wipe the water off her dress. She kept right on talking like nothing happened. And to their ladies of leisure, she said. Mommy bit down on her lip like Maria does when she's getting ready to twist my arm. She just looked at Mrs. Robinson for a long time. Then she said, I think we should drink to minority business loans and women who work hard to make men's dreams come true. Or better yet, she said, let's drink to ambitious women who bleed men dry. She slammed her glass down hard on the table. Mrs. Robinson stopped smiling. Mommy looked at me. I was staring at them with my mouth open. I guess she didn't like that either. Play with those cards, she said. She looked up like she was talking to God and said, that child will repeat every word of this tomorrow. I pushed the cards over to Maria. She pulled her face out of her bowl and opened the cards. Mrs. Robinson said again, I could keep Dory for you sometimes if you'd like to go with your husband more. Emma said, thank you, but it's like I told you, we need to spend time with Dory. Maria squeezed my arm. Would you please stop staring at them and play cards with me? I didn't want to play. Something was going on. Emma was getting mad, and Mrs. Robinson acted like she wanted her to. Mrs. Robinson said, Emma, why don't you put Dory in boarding school or get a living housekeeper? Mommy was looking at the ice skaters. I guess she didn't hear Mrs. Robinson, so Mrs. Robinson kept on talking. I would if it were me, she said. I'd put Maria in a boarding school in a minute. Maria looked at Mrs. Robinson kind of mad-like for a long time. You heard that, I thought. Mrs. Robinson didn't seem to mine's own. She kept right on talking. You better go with him. Protect your interests, he said. I'm afraid that's not all there is to it, Mommy said slowly. That's all there was to it when Frank left me, said Mrs. Robinson angrily. Jack is a player just like Frank, he went on. Men like that don't want women and kids. Why don't you admit it? And don't give me that responsible shit either. Me and Maria's eyes got real big. We covered our mouths. Ooh! Mrs. Robinson said a curse word. Mommy said, that's enough, Ruby, real loud. Mrs. Robinson looked real scared then. Maria and I sat real quiet, pretending to put the cards back into the box. Finally, Mommy said, come here, Dory. She held up the prettiest ribbons I had ever seen. They were supposed to be for school, but I talked her into letting me wear mine now. Maria got a present too. She gave Maria a box of headbands with a lot of different colors, just like my ribbons. It was so funny when Maria told Mommy thank you, for she slipped and called her Emma. I thought it was funny, but Mrs. Robinson started fussing at her. She would have fussed a whole lot, but Mommy said, Ruby, please, let's not make a big deal of it. Mommy pushed her chair back and stood up. She had a big wet spot on her pink dress where the water spilled on it. I've got a few more things to pick up, and I can go home and get out of this wet dress. Me and Maria finished the sentence for her. All of us started laughing, even Mrs. Robinson. I still didn't feel like being around her anymore, so I asked if Maria and I could take the bus to the old train station and skate. Mommy said no, but Mrs. Robinson said she thought it was a good idea. Mommy said, Ruby, all kinds of people go there, the worst kinds. I turned around for her to tie my ribbon. Why do you like the place anyway, Dory? She asked. Why don't you let me take you to a nice, clean skating rink? I said, 'Cause I like to skate outdoors. Maria said, me too, and I like the smooth pavement. All the kids go there. Mrs. York. Mrs. Robinson said, see, you have nothing to worry about. Okay, okay, Mommy said. If you like old rundown buildings, rusty pipes, broken windows, and peeling paint, go right ahead. Mrs. Robinson wanted to come by the train station and pick us up. I told her we could walk home. Fine, Dory, just do whatever you want to do. She sounded just like Maria. After we got our skates from the car, they waited with us until the bus came. Me and Maria hugged Emma before we left, but I still didn't feel good about leaving her. I just kept thinking that me and Maria had taken Mrs. Robinson's side against her. I would never do that. I was looking out the window thinking about my mommy and daddy. I wanted to grow up as quickly as possible so I could understand things like Maria. I tugged on Maria's arm. She stopped gooing and cooing with the baby across the aisle. What's a player, Maria? I asked. Just someone who plays like a card player or a baseball player or a piano player, she said. I asked, are you sure, Maria? She just gave me that look. I was just looking to make sure she was telling me right. She'll be a grown up soon, and I know they don't tell you everything. Anyway, I wanted to know what a boarding school was and all that other stuff I heard Mommy and Mrs. Robinson talking about at Gina's. I turned back to the window. Maria went back to her cooing and gooing with the baby across the aisle. I thought about Mrs. Robinson trying to get my mommy to have another baby. I almost fell out of my seat trying to see the baby across the aisle. It was wrapped in a yellow blanket with only its head showing. It looked like a turtle. I sat back in my seat.